Hello, fellow TubeTubers, it's Miss R here, and we are on the second lesson of the week for the fox and the goat. We're going to be looking at question 2. So, what we're going to do is we're going to reread the extract, or the short story, should I say, and we're going to attempt question 2. So, let me read the extract to you again. A fox one day fell into a deep well and could find no means of escape. A goat, overcome with thirst, came to the same well and, seeing the fox, inquired if the water was good. Concealing his sad plight under a merry guise, the fox indulged in a lavish praise of the water, saying it was excellent beyond measure, and encouraging him to descend. The goat, mindful only of his thirst, thoughtlessly jumped down, but as he drank, the fox informed him of the difficulty they were both in and suggested a scheme for their common escape. "If," said he, "you will place your 4 feet upon the wall and bend your head, I will run up your back and escape, and I will help you out afterwards." The goat readily assented, and the fox leaped up on his back. Steadying himself on the goat's horns, he safely reached the mouth of the well and made off as fast as he could. When the goat upbraided him for breaking his promise, he turned around and cried out, "You foolish old fellow! If you had as many brains in your head as you have hairs in your beard, you would never have gone down before you had inspected the way up, nor have exposed yourself to the dangers from which you had no means of escape." Okay, so question 2 says, how does the writer use language here to describe the goat? You could include the writer's choice of words and phrases, language features and techniques, sentence forms. So before you attempt the actual question, I would like you to do 2 tasks for me. I'd like you to find me 4 quotations that describe the goat and identify devices in each quote. There might be more than one. So you're looking at language devices, remember. And don't forget to refer back to the PDF that I have attached down below, which you can purchase for £1.10. And it has all the language devices that you could find on there. I want you to spend approximately 5 minutes on this task. So pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so just to help you out in case you were struggling, I looked at 4 quotes. Overcome with thirst, mindful only of his thirst, readily assented, upbraided him for breaking his promise. So in the first quote, overcome with thirst, I found the verb overcome and the noun thirst. In the second quote, mindful only of his thirst, I looked at the adjective mindful and the adverb only. In readily assented, I looked at the adverb readily and the verb assented. And upbraided him for breaking his promise, I looked at upbraided, which is a verb, and promise, which is a noun. So these are 4 quotes that you could use in your to help you write your response, but you don't have to. If you found something better, by all means, use what you have. This is just here to help you. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is you could either draw this table, or if you've actually purchased this whole booklet, which is also in the link below, you can just complete the table that you've printed out, or you can edit the document. Either way, you're going to fill this out. So what you'd want is 5 columns. Quotation, how is this describing the goat? Zoom in on a keyword or phrase, identify the device and explain the effect. Zoom in on another keyword or phrase, identify the device and explain the effect. And effect on reader. Altogether, you filling out this table, if you were to use everything that you've written out in this table and you turn that into paragraphs, that would be a very high level answer, because not only are you identifying good quotes describing the goat, but you're analysing each quote in detail and you're looking at the effect on the reader. Now, as you can see, I've got the 4 quotes that I've used in the first 4 rows. However, there's a blank row at the bottom, and that's for you to use your own quote that you found. So, I've done the first row for you. The quotation that I've looked at is overcome with thirst. How is this describing the goat? Well, I've said it describes him as extremely thirsty. This is his main priority, obviously getting some water. My zooming in, my first keyword is overcome. So I've said the verb overcome suggests that this need for water has overpowered him, as if he cannot function properly without it. My second keyword is thirst. I said the noun thirst shows that he craves for a basic necessity which is high importance. And my effect on the reader, I've said the reader is able to empathise with the goat and can perhaps understand how he ended up getting tricked by the fox. So what I'd like you to do now is complete the rest of the rows. Now, I've helped you out with the second quote. I've said that mindful only of his thirst, it shows that he's ignorant to his surrounding or the fox's intentions due to his sole focus on his thirst. And I'd like you to complete the rest of that row and then do the other ones on your own. Now, if you do get stuck, what I would say is at least see if you can zoom in on one keyword from each quote that you've found. So you don't have to fill out both of those columns, but if you can, that would be great. But make sure you always put the effect on the reader. Pause the video now and you want to spend about 15 minutes on this task. Okay, so now you're going to have a go at answering this question. How does the writer use language here to describe the goat? Now, ideally, you want to write minimum 2 paragraphs, maximum 3. It all depends on how much detail you're putting into them, but within your paragraphs, you want to include at least 4 different quotes and analysis on those 4 quotes. So, you're turning your table into a full response. What you want to include when it comes to your analysis is a quote, preferably fewer than 3 words. Make sure you use your quotation marks. You want to zoom in on a 1-word quote that's within the quote they've already picked. Identify the technique or word class. You want to use a word like suggests or implies for inference, possibly mentioning connotations or symbolism. You want to explore the emotional impact of a quote on the reader, so basically your effect on the reader, and see if you can link the quote to the overall ideas or meaning of the text. So I've done 1 paragraph for you and I'd like you to carry on from there. So my first paragraph is, firstly, during this part of the extract, the goat is described as extremely thirsty. His need to quench his thirst is his main priority. This is evident when the writer describes the goat as overcome with thirst. The noun thirst shows that he craves for a basic necessity, and I put water in brackets, which is of high importance for humans and animals. Additionally, the inclusion of the verb overcome suggests that this need for water has overpowered him. It is as if he cannot function properly without it. With this description, the reader is able to empathise with the goat and can perhaps understand how he ended up getting tricked by the fox. I would like you to carry on with at least another 2 paragraphs for me, looking at some of your quotes or some of the analysis that you have created on your own. But as you can see, in my example, I've actually used everything from my table, from what I wrote down in the table, and just put it into words and explained it a little bit more in my response. So that's what I'm looking for in yours. So have a go at that. You want to time yourself. Don't spend any more than 15 minutes answering this question. In the exam, you wouldn't want to spend any more than 10 minutes, but because it's revision, give yourself an extra 5 minutes as well. I'm going to be posting lesson 3 tomorrow, and we're going to be looking at question 3. But again, just to remind you, if you do feel as if you want to have a go at question 3, you want to do some revision beforehand, feel free to download the whole PowerPoint that I have created for £1.10. It's in the link below. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.